I have been looking for this rock in California all my life. Blue Azurite. And I'll even tell you where to find it at the end of the video. Pretty cool. We are way up in the mountains of Lake County in Northern California today, and we've got a long hike ahead of us. And on the hike, it's always really cool to see what you can find along the way. I'm finding some small white pieces, some calcite, nothing really to write home about, but these views are awesome. And today we are on our way to find out what kind of minerals we can collect at an old copper mine. So let's see if we can get there. So on the map, the trail that we're going off of is called Miner's Ridge, which is great. Normally these roads, they're not named for nothing. And so here's the trail, and I just wanted to show you the cutoff right here that you take down. So we're hiking along the path, and this is the turnoff. Looks just like a regular cutoff, but we found it, so let's go. And you can actually see the mine way down there. Wherever there's bare earth or kind of like a little bit of green, definitely green because we're looking for copper, that's where we're gonna find the mine. And as we walk, we're gonna kind of keep our eyes down and look on the trail because we're looking for indications of the minerals that we're gonna find. Now, this is a copper mine, so we're looking for like everything that's green and blue, and then some variation of those two, which we normally call like chrysocolla. So we're finding our first little bit of calcite right here as we approach the mine. We're not quite there yet. This is really steep. I probably wouldn't recommend coming down this way. And I finally make it down to the valley floor of the mine, and I start to worry here because I'm looking down and I am not seeing any signs of copper ore mineralization. I'm not seeing any green, any turquoise, anything. And it would be terrible if I came all this way for nothing. So, I mean, I'm finding some things. I'm finding a little bit of quartz right here, some milky quartz. Not impressive at all. But it's okay because we're not quite at the coordinates yet. But when I finally get there, I look down and I see this, chrysocolla. This turquoise rock is a copper ore mineral that means that we are there. We made it to the mine, so let's see what else we can find. When you find the blue rocks, you know you're there. Okay, so we made it. Now it's time to poke around in the gravels to see if we can find better specimens. More vibrant turquoises, more deeper greens, anything that's really nice and eye-catching right here. So now that we found it, we're just looking for the better quality specimens. A good quality specimen is going to have some nice color to it, and it's also going to be stable, or as stable as we can get it. Stable means that it's not just crust deep. That if you put it into a rock tumbler or a polisher, then it'll stay together and won't crumble into nothing. And that's what we're looking for. So this stuff right here, you can tell the coloring's not quite what we want. It's more host rock than copper ore. We want something really nice and colorful. Like this right here, I would keep this. This has got color, it's not crust deep, it's through all the way. I'm just hoping that it's going to hold up in a rock tumbler. This thing right here is really nice because of its size, it's got good color. That's even got a little speck of blue in it there too. I'm going to keep that. So rock hounding at a copper mine is interesting because you're basically looking for 3 different rocks. There's chrysocolla, which is like the most common kind of like turquoise rock. Then there's malachite, which is green. And if you're really lucky, you'll find some blue azurite, but I've actually never really found that yet. So you can imagine my surprise when I picked up this piece of chrysocolla and found blue azurite right at the tip there. Can you see that? I'll get it wet for you so you can see it a little better. This is azurite, and it's one of my all-time favorite rocks. Hey, azurite! You can't. I've always wanted to find this stuff in California. So this is really exciting for me right now, guys. And then I just got spoiled. I just found azurite everywhere, and I got rid of all the chrysocolla stuff. Not really interested in that anymore now that we found azurite. This is really special. And I guess my fascination with azurite first started when I saw this huge giant rock at the New York Museum of Natural History. It's called the Singing Stone. It was first mined in Arizona and then on display at the World Fair, and they called it the Singing Stone because at night, when the air conditioning turned on, the water in the copper ore would expand and actually emit a whistling sound. I thought that was really fascinating, and it's actually a dream of mine to find this stuff out here in the wild. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's a small thing to subscribe to my channel, but it would really mean the world to me, so thanks very much. As I continue to dig, I'm only finding better and better specimens of azurite here, and I'm going to kind of fill up my bag because I don't really know if I'm ever going to come back here. My best piece of the day probably was this small piece right there.
That's a keeper.
Now, I did start this video saying that I would tell you where you could find this stuff, so here's that info. You're going to go all the way to Red Mountain Campground on the Cow Mountains. Then you're going to hike just south of that to Miners Ridge, and then follow Miners Ridge down to this area right here, and that clearing is where you'll find it. Now it's time to hike all the way back up that hill. Rockhounding for azurite. Pretty cool.